All right, so we have a new tournament starting tomorrow for the it's the quarterback tournament. They've also threatened, I think, that there's going to be an update tomorrow about the tournament tier stuff. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that, but let's check out these holes. So, hole number one, if you use Golf Clash notebook stuff, so you can get a little bit better images. Hole number one is Eagle Peak. Hole number one. Hole number two is Eagle Peak. Hole number two. Hole number three is Sunshine Glades. Hole number six. Hole number four is Sunshine Glades. Hole number eight. Hole number five is Eagle Peak. Hole number three. Hole number six is Eagle Peak. Hole number five. Hole number seven is Sunshine Glades. Hole number five. Hole number eight is Sunshine Glades. Hole number four. And hole number nine is Eagle Peak. Hole number six. We should all be familiar with these courses. In the last year, I think we've been at Eagle Peak and Sunshine Glades. I think there's 28 courses in Golf Clash, and in the last year we've played these holes at least 2 or 3 times. So everybody should be somewhat familiar with them. But let's go check them out. Let's check them out. Hole number one, Eagle Peak. All right, we have 3 ways. You can try and dig yourself down into here and come around this bend. This is actually a pretty tricky shot. You can try, I've seen people go through the trees, and you can do that, but this is kind of you take a big risk. If you're in here in the trees, if you get caught up, you're not going to get up. You can recover if you end up down here. You can recover by using this island and bouncing over, but you can also go out into this area right here. The trick here is here's the pin, and there's that tree. And so you need to be on this side of that line in order to have a clear line of sight to the cup. Otherwise, you may have to put on some curl, or you'll need a big side spin ball to be able to work yourself around it. So ideally, you want to be up here in front of that line. I found, and I've been in this spot, I don't know how many times, and you're in the right spot, you hit it perfect, and I for whatever reason, it goes in, but it just doesn't go in as often as I'd like it to go in. The last time we played this hole, one of my teammates, Dez, got me hooked on going to this spot right here. It's really easy to get there. You can use a QB, a rock, use whatever driver you have that has the best ball guide and the best accuracy. And ball guide's super important, because when you get up here to the top, this runs up. Here's that sand trap, and it runs uphill to this sand trap all the way up. And so you want to just dribble right up here in the front, and you can come through it this direction with a sniper, and you can use that backboard. Now, some people call it a funnel, but you can use that backboard to walk your ball guide back to the cup. And you got a really good shot from over here. Now, we were doing a wind adjustment, and I don't think it was very much. I think it was right at about 10%. So let's go try out this hole. Let's go check it out. Let's see what we got. Let's go pick a bag. Bag number 2 will work. And as far as ball goes, you don't have to use a big ball there, but I think it was I'm going to use a katana. I don't think we need to use a big ball, but it's really one of those areas where you could probably bring a low wind ball, a lower power, low wind ball. Let's grab some of these, open some of these chests and get rid of them. We'll open up one every hole. See if we can get anything good. All right. No, let's not go play that. Let's go back. What were you thinking? Damn Ricky. That's not what I want either. What the hell is that? Quarterback, enter practice. Enter practice. Let's get on hole number 1. Let's go out and play it and see what we got. It seems, if I remember correctly, it doesn't take a whole lot of movement on this drive shot to get it up there, but how it tails off at the very end. You got to watch your ball guide. This is why you want a club with a really good ball guide, because it's so steep right up there by that sand that you want to get to the spot where when it gets up into that area, it's rolling off to the right. Maybe I can get an opponent. I'm going to put on my computer glasses, which give me a little bit better look when I'm up close and personal like this. To 8. Yeah. We're way the hell downhill here, so that's got to be at least a. I'm going to do 3 and a little. Hitting it perfect. El Perfecto. Just trying to stop it right up there at the top. All right, let's get my trusty dusty calculator out here. And I'll do a 10%. I'm gonna start off with, which way's the wind blowing? I'm gonna start off with a 10% wind adjustment. Because I know from the past that we were doing an adjustment here. My opponent's blasting it out there, and I have no issues with. I mean, you get into a nice spot when you go out. The problem is that it's very easy to end up doing that, and it's very easy to end up behind those trees. And when you're behind those trees like that, you're in a spot of bother. So 3.9, it's 4.29 rings. And I'm at mid club, so divided by 1.1, so we're back at the 3.9. Right at the hole. 3.9 rings. Well, let's just hit this one perfect. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if we can get it in the cup. Let's help our opponent out. It's got a good graphic there. Come on, come on, get in the hole. Get in the hole. In the hole! Now that's just playing it off the cuff. So the whole deal, one of the benefits of recording yourself is you can go back and watch, you get a shot like that, you can go back and watch the video, and you can make notes on there on how much backspin was on that shot to prep up, so that you have a little bit better idea when you go there, and it'll help speed up that process. So I suppose in that situation, we did a 10% adjustment at mid-club, so I basically did a 1-for-1. Since those parts of the equation balance out. All right, that's a look at hole number 1. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I think it's BS you don't get any chess if you win out there. In these practice rounds, let's go check out hole number 2. Hole number 2 is going to be at Eagle Peak hole number 2. This is a par 3 here. Now, this one right here, you definitely... There is a rough bump that right here that has a nice... I mean, this is a really, really nice shot. And there was definitely a wind adjustment that we were doing here. And there is a ball issue coming up here too. Because in order to do this rough bump and give yourself enough room out into the rough so that you're not right on the edge, you got to have a ball that's got some side spin. And I believe in order to get, and this is with a wood, or yeah, it's with a wood. It's with your sniper. So if you don't have a, and let me think here, what, and I know once again, this is one of those holes that we were doing a wind adjustment on. But picking the ball here is going to be really important, because you can get in the spot, but you've got to be so close to that edge that if you don't hit it perfect, let's just go out there and let's see what we can get. Okay, I'm going to just bring that bag again. We'll just go out there and play it. We'll act like it's one-on-one, and we'll just play. Are we on hole number 2? Gotta make sure here. Hole number 2. All right, here we go. You can come at it straight. You can come from way down below and bounce over the sand, but the best way to give yourself an opportunity for hole-in-one is definitely to use that rough bump. We'll just wing it. We'll wing it and see where we're at. And of course I go first. Of course. Where are we at with club? All right. I'm at men club, so it's about 1.3 per ring. Damn. There ain't no getting over there. Gotta be right on that edge. 3, 4. There's 3, 4. I'm going to just do a 10% adjustment and see what happens. Hitting it perfect. It's going to be off because I can get my tail right at it. That's one of those shots that you want to practice a few times so you can, what you want to know there is what kind of movement you got to put on the ball, so that you can immediately set down, work your wind, put the movement on the ball, and then move it around until you get to the right spot, so you're not wasting time like I was. But that rough bump right there is a money shot. And part of what helped me right there was that we had headwind. And you can do what my opponent's doing, but I've got a lot of hole-in-ones on this hole using that rough bump, and I've only had a few hole-in-ones on this hole coming at it from any other direction. It's possible, but that rough bump is a good shot, but it is kind of dangerous. If you bring a lower power ball, if you've got some low wind 3 side spin balls, Olympus balls, if you've got some of those type in your bag, you're going to be a little bit deeper into your club. I'll have to go back and watch that video and see what kind of move I did, because even though I was at minimum club, I did a max number, so that's a 30% wind adjustment, and I added some on. So I got that all wrong. Totally screwed that up, but was super close. So there is a spot there. Let's go check out hole number 3. Hole number 3. What is hole number 3? Hole number 3 is going to be Sunshine Glades. Let's open up another tab and find some Sunshine Glades here. Everybody should be familiar with this course. Very first tournament in Golf Clash was at Sunshine Glades, and I think their motto is that every third tournament should at least have a Sunshine Glade hole in it. Hole number 6. All right, so we have in one-on-one play, this is one of those holes that it could be very dependent on which way the wind's blowing, on what would be the most advantageous shot. So if the wind is blowing like this, being out in this area right here and having this shot coming into the cup is not a bad deal. If the wind's blowing like this, it's not actually a bad deal to be in the spot, because in one-on-one, this is typically where we'll hit to, is out in this area right here. And you've got, this is a wood shot, this is a long iron, and this is a short iron. So if the wind's blowing like this might not be a bad shot. If the wind's blowing like this, where you can get that wind behind you, this wouldn't be a bad shot. So we do have some options here on this side of the line. If we're shooting against headwind, do you want to shoot against just straight up headwind? So you do have some options here, especially if you're playing up the tours and you're trying to get that wind to at least be a little bit on your side. You do have some options. I preferred this spot right here, but this spot right here is not a bad deal, and I've played this spot a bunch of times because this is where I always play on one-on-one. If you can get deep enough up in here, you've got a big enough ball and or the right club, there is a rough bump that you can do here, but you're going to need a club that's got topspin. You can also do a rough bump from this side right here, or you can just start off. So from this side, you can start off on the green side and go right at the cup, or you can try and do the rough bump. From this spot right here, you can bounce over, or you could try and use the rough bump, or if you brought like a guardian and had a big enough ball, you could get over to the other side and try and backspin it on. From this side over here, it's a pretty much straight up shot. Now I will tell you, if you've got lower developed clubs and you try and do this shot right here, and you're using a Kingfisher, which is a great club, you're going to have a distance issue. And you could be in between clubs. So you want to make sure that if you bring a Kingfisher here, that your backup, your long iron, is a long iron that has a lot of backspin. Because you may be in that spot where your red line's like right in here and you can't get to it with your short iron, and your long iron is pushed too close to the cup. So you're going to need a long iron that's got backspin. If you're using a Kingfisher and you find that you're putting yourself into a spot and you're trying for this spot right here, and you're having this red line issue, you're going to have to switch to a different club. If you've got lower developed clubs, the option is a runner. But if you've got upper developed clubs, you can switch to a Hornet and you won't have that problem. I like to go to this area right here. So let's bring out a big ball. I think you can get this done with a 3-power ball, but you may need a 4-power ball to get over there, so you don't have to do any overpower. But let's try it with a 3-power ball. See if we can make that jump. I can bring that bag right there, or I can bring that bag right there. I get more raw distance here, but less topspin. It's pretty good topspin. I'll decide on the fly when I get out there. Let's open up a chest. See if we get any 24, 27. Excellent. Always looking for comments. Always cracked me up for the first 3 years of this game that we didn't have the club card trading. And everybody bitched about getting commons. Now everybody wants commons so they can refill their... Can I get over there with that? I can. That might be just a little too much topspin. Let's do 3 miles an hour. Let's just try and hit it straight forward. Yeah, I'm going to end up in the sand. In the sand. I'm going to the beach. Taking the kids to the beach. See? I told you. It's all downhill. I'm going to hit to the spot that I want to hit to, that I was trying to hit to show you what that shot looks like. You can recover if you're over on that side. So it's not the end of the world, and you can still sink the sand or the rough. If you end up in the rough, you can shoot that and still make it in with a rough iron or a sand wedge. It's not the end of the world. That's one of the things I like about those types of shot. That shot right there is the risk versus reward. The reward is if we get in the right spot, we're awesome. But there's very little risk. hitting to the left if you end up off on the left hand side. And so you can very easily make it there with just about any club. That would be the area right there that I'd be trying to hit to. That's where I was looking to get. I'm going to start off here just doing a straight up shot. You can see from where my opponent's at that you can do a rough bump. The thing I like about rough bumps is you can eliminate secondary wind effects. So if you're playing pro or you're playing expert, anytime you can get in a position where you can do a rough bump, if you can get the wind adjustment right to this first landing spot, the rest of it should respond correctly, at least the way your ball guide's telling you it will. Doing a nice wind adjustment there. See if they can get in the hole. Nice. Nice shot. Now what sucks about that is now I'm not going to get a shot. Dang it. Let's play that hole again. Damn it. What kind of Ricky move is that? At least we know now. Let's go back to hole number 3 and let's play that hole one more time. Let's play it again so we can at least get a shot to the cup. Why is it that when we're playing in the practice rounds and you win outright, like my opponent did right there and like I did on hole number 1, you don't win a chest? Why are we have to pay to get in this and then there's no chest? I don't like it when you win and you don't get something. I know they've changed the stuff around. I will tell you that the old pin chest did not give you as good a prizes as what you can get in these chests doing the golf pass and the new reward system that they have. But if you won a round, you got something for it. This wind's not as good as the last. It's going to kill it. I don't think there's any way I can get over there with an extra mile. Now they're using a 0 power ball. Close. That works. That works, bro. Let's go look at that one more time. Let's adjust out that wind. Let's be nice about it. Hitting it perfect, which is what I wish I would have hit it last time. Could have matched up with my opponent and tried to get my Albie. Now I'm a little bit farther back than where I normally like to be here, so I may be like my opponent in long iron range. You really need to get out there in the front where you clear that river, land in the fairway so that you can get some forward run. I'm going to do a little bit of an adjustment on this because I'm going up against that headwind. Let's see where I'm at in my club. Should be using my, what's a long iron do I have here? I got a Grizzly, so I'm at, nice shot. Nice shot, man. 0.9, 1.1, 1.4, where are we at? Where are we at in club? Ooh, I am right there. I'm at 1.4 per ring, so it's 2.6 equals divided by 1.4. About two rings. Do I have enough oomph to get up there? Possibly. Maybe. It's 2 rings and a sliver. There's 2 rings and a sliver. I was running out of time. I was watching the clock more than I was watching the... I still would have ended up short. So the Grizzly is not going to be a good club in that spot. If you're there, you need something with a little bit more topspin. Saturn. Let's check out what our options are. I believe your best option would probably be a Saturn. So that is one way to get over there. So if we're going to have any kind of headwind, we're going to need to bring out a bigger ball if we're trying to get over to that island. If we've got any tailwind, we shouldn't have any issues trying to get over there. If you've got lower developed clubs, you will probably have to bring out a 4-power ball. Let's check out what my best options here would be. You could use a Goliath. Now when you get your Goliath up and level and it starts to get some ball guide, it's not a bad option. I've never really liked the Goliath because of this 135. There's just absolutely no red line between your wood and your long iron. And so if you're pushing up there at the top, you're instantaneously into the next club. And if you've made any spin adjustments or any adjustments on it, those adjustments go away. I've always had issues playing with the Goliath. Let's see a backbone. No, backbone's not going to cut it. It's B52, not going to cut it. So really, and your best option is probably going to be a Saturn or a Goliath, one of those two. All right, let's check out hole number 4. What is hole number 4? Sunshine Glades, hole number 8. Let's go check out Sunshine Glades, hole number 8. All right, there are several ways that we can come at this. You can bounce off from this and come over, and there is a rough bump here. Now, this is one of those rough bumps that, depending on which way the wind's blowing, because it runs diagonal from where we're at, that if you've got some winds, you've really got to make a good wind adjustment when you're in this area. I usually like in one-on-one, like if the wind's blowing in these directions or anywhere kind of in that plane, in one-on-one, I don't mind taking that rough bump. But if I start getting due headwind or big tailwind and you make a bad adjustment, you don't get that wind adjustment right, you could very easily find yourself either stuck in the sand or clipping the fairway, and then you're back over here in this sand. So typically if I've got either any wind that's in this quadrant or this quadrant, I will typically use that island. And anything that's kind of going along with that rough bump, I'll use that rough bump. You don't need... Let's think about ball here. I think you can get this done with just a low level ball. Let's bring a nav. You don't need any. I'm just going to bring my standard stuff. Let's open up a chest. See if we get a bunch of commons in this one. 50 something. Excellent. Is that fair? It cracks me up that every gem is a penny, and buying an emoji. Yeah, it's just $2.50 for an emoji. I think about it on any other app that you have. You're going to pay $2.50 for an emoji, or $1. All right, come on, let's get an opponent. No, I've been shooting a lot of videos. I've actually been shooting videos. I started another channel where I'm doing Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and the thing about the golf classes, they just have burned me out. I still like the game, but they've just fried me. I'm not willing to put in the practice that I used to be able to put into, or that I was willing to put in before, to be at the top. So it's just like anything, any sport, any competition out there. If you don't practice and you just walk in and you play, it's not to say that you don't have some natural ability and you can't do good and you can still have some fun. But really, if you're trying to get up to the top, you got to practice at anything. I've been involved in a lot of different sports, and if you practice, you can have good results. If you don't practice, you can still have results, but they may not be as good as you like. 3.5, so that'd be a 3.8 wind adjustment. I'm gonna do this rough bump right here. Right here. Let's find that spot. Hey, don't be freaking playing that game with me. .8. That was with a 10% wind adjustment. Let's see if it pushed it off and I need to do a bigger wind adjustment. No, that wasn't too bad. If you look at where I landed there, I was actually a little bit deep in the hole compared to where I put it, where I set it up originally. Yeah, it's shooting. I've shot probably 5,000 or 6,000 Golf Clash videos over the last 3.5, 4 years. And over the 3.5, 4 years developing a style, one of the things that really helped me out, and one of the things that really prompted me to start shooting videos, was when Golf Clash Notebook came out. It's been 3 solid years since Golf Clash Notebook came out. And that really inspired me, because at the time, who was out there shooting videos, we didn't have access to all of the courses and all of the stuff that was out there. And when Golf Clash Notebook came out and we had those pictures, we could actually sit down and do what we're doing right here, where we can pull up an image and start to think, like, how can we approach that hole? All right, hole number... That was hole number 8. We're on hole number 5, and hole number 5 is Eagle Peak, hole number 3. Now, I know that if you're playing from the upper tours, there's probably a great shot from over here so that you can bring it home this direction. In Ricky, you can easily get out into here, and where you want to get is in front of that shadow. You can bring out a big power ball, and you can try and run yourself through this rough and get up into this area right here. If you get it right and you've got the right club, especially if you've got really upper developed clubs and you bring out the right ball, you can probably get damn near on the green. I know I've been in this area a few times. I've been caught in the rough trying to get over, but this area, this landing area right here in Rookie is pretty much the preferred area. You've got a nice short iron shot coming in. Now this is one of those ones where it's a red line issue. You can find yourself either having to take this with your long iron because you didn't quite get enough distance to get in front of that sand with your short iron. There is a backboard that you can use here to bring it back, just like what we had on hole number 1. Let's see what my options are. If I bring out a big enough power ball, I could do this one of 2 ways. I could bring an extra mile, and I could bring a big topper. If I bring a big topper here, I definitely want to switch that up. So those are my two, really what I think of as my 2 options. Let's bring a Kingmaker and see if we can cut the wind down a little. Really, in Rookie, unless you want to bring out a bigger ball and try and go to get up to the green and, and get over that little gap of sand that's up here. This area that I'm trying to hit to is probably your best landing area, but you do have options. What I find funny on this hole is I see a lot of people in one-on-one, they come in here with lower level balls. So if you're playing with a marlin, and they'll do max OP in order to get over, to clear this first fairway, to get over to the second fairway. And you can bring a big topper. And you can start over here and then bounce over to the other side. So you can do what my opponent's doing right there, where they're hitting from that side with a marlin and then bouncing over. So in this situation right here, my opponent should bring out a big topper. You're going to net more yardage because you're not using all of the distance on your extra mile. You're going to be able to net more yardage because you really want to get in front of that shadow. It's not that you don't have a great shot from there. It's just that if you want to try and get yourself into your short iron range, and anytime you have the opportunity to get yourself into short iron range, I mean, come on. Let's get into short iron range. .28. That's about 3. Put just a little teeny bit of overpower on it. Hitting it perfect. Just want to make sure I clear that. And just try and roll up there and get in front of that shadow. Now if I put any, now where I'm at right there, I'm probably going to be right at minimum long iron. I didn't get quite enough. You really want to be up here a little bit more in front of that shadow. So where I'm at, I'm definitely going to be on long iron. What is my minimum club for sniper is 1.3 per ring. Yeah, so having 3 years of experience shooting videos for Golf Clash and as many videos as I've shot, if you switch to a different deal and you're shooting videos, you got to develop a new technique and try and figure out how you want to do it. I probably shot about 60 hours of the video that got cut. I'd shoot it and go, damn, that's not what I wanted to say, or that's not how I want to do it, and change it up again. 3.9. Where am I at my club? There's max. There's min. There's mid. I'm eking towards max club, so it's 1 per ring. Do a 4 ring pull, or push in this case. I'm not going to add anything on it. Let's just see how far off I am. I had to snap it off. Running out of time. Damn rookie. Have to get closer or just go right at it. There is the backboard there, and I see a lot of people do that backboard shot. There are some of those holes where the backboard shot, you can really funnel it in there. You can get it looking towards the cup. That one might be a better one to just go straight at it. This is just like hole number 1. This is one of those holes where you can put yourself in the right spot all the time, and you're in that spot, and you hit it perfect, and it doesn't go in. El Perfecto. All right. That was what hole was that? That was hole number 5. So we're on hole number 6. Hole number 6 is Eagle Peak hole number 5. It's a par 4. Eagle Peak hole number 5. All right. Now, you can land up here and try and put yourself up here so that you can come down to the bottom, and you're going to have to find somebody else's videos to watch, because you can go through every video I've ever shot on this hole and you will not find one time where I ever demoed this shot up here, because the second shot, you're up here and here's the green down here. It is brutal. And it's not that you can't make this shot, it's just that it's not a very high percentage shot, and you put yourself there on purpose. The deal is that we want to try and get down here on the green side in one. And this hill is so steep going down that if you can bounce here on the fairway and clip this rough anywhere in it, you're going to roll down through it. You can get caught up in this rough, but you're more apt if you get into this area, unless you just bled off into it. If you get any kind of a bounce here that puts you even a third of the way, halfway into that rough, you're going to roll down and come to the bottom. The trajectory that we're trying to come at this, though, is this sand trap is way in play. Because, I mean, here's the straight line to the tee, and we're trying to come out into this area and then bring it around. Now, coming down this hill, it's going to want to float a little bit to the right, but it's very easy to get your trajectory, because look at where your trajectory is leading you. If you're coming in this direction, it's leading you right towards that sand. So we need to get out here enough with enough side spin and curl to bring us around the bend. If we have headwind on this, this is going to be very difficult to do without bringing out a bigger power ball. Possibly bigger power than a power 3 ball. Definitely a good hole to bring a Kingmaker on. I think I have one left. I have two. We could do this with an extra mile. We could do it with an Apocalypse. I think in the past I've also played this with a rock. If you've got an upper developed rock, if you've got a level 8 rock, you can play it with a rock. And one of the things about the rock is you get a lot better ball guide and a lot more accuracy. So if you're off a little bit, it's not as big a deal. I'm gonna try this with an Apocalypse. I'm gonna pound that ball down there. My Apocalypse is at 1.5 per ring. Let's go get it. Now, one thing I want to talk about real quick. If you end up on this hole and you end up in these trees or behind these trees, you end up in this area right here where your shot coming to the cup, you have no shot coming to the cup. What you want to think of is you can try and bring yourself around, but the goal here would be to recover and get right into this spot right down here at the bottom, and all you have to do is literally you're using this. So instead of trying to hit it straight forward, you're hitting it in this direction with curl, just trying to bring it down that hill. You're going to end up in this bowl right here, but you can get out from behind those trees. If you try and hit through those trees, it's usually not a good deal. So, and you can put yourself in spots out there where it's really hard to hit around the trees. So you just have to change your angle. We'll see what we can get going here. This is a hole right here that even if you get down there to the bottom, the second shot, the chip-in shot, is very tricky. I've had a lot of eagles on this hole, and I've had a lot of where I was in the right spot on the drive and missed the chip. And usually we think of it, when you're right off the green and you've got the short little chip, especially if you're using a rapier, that, then that's money. But it's one of those areas that you still have to hit it perfect, and there is a slight adjustment. Wind's definitely a factor. All right, of course I go first. I like going first. Let's get her done. All right. It's about 2 rings, 2 and a little. One ring great to the right, I should be able to clear those trees from there. Let's see if I got the right angle so that I missed the sand. Ooh. Close. That's what we're looking for right there. Now, if you get that right, this does have a backboard on it. And if you get that right and you can catch that backboard where you can stay on the green, if you can get up there high enough, it will roll you back down to the cup. I've had a couple shots here where I've only been 2 or 3 feet away from the cup. So you can get those. But normally, the normal area that I'm in is right where I'm at. Very similar situation where you're in front of the green a little bit. At the beginning, there's a bowl down there that you end up funneling to a lot. Let's see if my opponent can get on. No dice. No dice. Now, like I said, this is no freaking gimme. You got to hit this perfect. That's the deal. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. In the hole. Woo! Treat this as a serious practice round. Picked up the eagle on one, picked up the eagle on this one right here. These par fours, and my whole game has always been on, yes, I love getting albies, and yes, I love getting hole-in-ones, but the par fours that are in this game, if those are your best opportunities. There are some par threes that you're like this is a serious hole-in-one hole. Get in the hole. Nice shot. Oh shit. That was bad. But these par fours, I've always believed that the par fours are your best opportunity to try and pick stuff up. And we have a couple par fours here so far that are definitely great holes for trying to pick shots up. Hole number 7 is going to be at Sunshine Glades, hole number 5. All right, this par 3 right here. So you have several options. From the pro tees in one-on-one, I almost always play right in here. I know a lot of people play out into this zone out here, but I usually play right in this area, and I try and bounce here and then bring it to the cup. It takes very little topspin. In rookie, I like to play from right here. I like to get in front of that sand and try and bring it to the cup. And you can play it with from up here, it's wood range, and you can play it with a sniper. You can play it with a guardian. A guardian gives you a little bit more. You got less ball guide than if you're using your sniper, but you can stop it. It does roll off on the back. It doesn't seem to roll off as bad anymore, or maybe it's just I don't get caught up in that because I know. But it's very easy to roll past the cup, and if you get on the downhill slide where you can end up in the rough or end up down here on the bottom, and it's a pretty difficult putt if you're all the way down at the bottom and you didn't end up at the rough. I mean, it's a pretty difficult chip and it's a difficult putt, but you can end up in some serious trouble if you roll past it. The thing about playing out into this area right here is you can play right up against this sand trap, but I've never been a big fan, and this hole right here is when you're hitting over this sand, if a lot of holes you hit, let's say you didn't catch it perfect, you had it one ring great to the right. A lot of holes, it's not as big a deal. If you're not doing a rough bump, it's not the end of the world. Here it can be the end of the world because you can very easily find yourself in this sand, even though it looks like when you set your ball guide up and you set the shot up that you were way away from it. A little bit of a mistake can be a big deal. I'm going to hit from this spot right here with a sniper. And I think I can use a katana on this. Let's switch. Let's switch that ball to a katana and let's save myself a half a second. And let's make sure I have a bag with the Guardian if I don't like the sniper shot. And I know in the past I've always done a 10% wind adjustment on this, and I'm not saying that that's what you should do, but I've always done a 10% wind adjustment. When you're hitting against headwind on this hole, you need to be, this is one of those holes from the upper tees that can be very tricky, because this is one of those holes that you can get on, and if you've got a big tailwind or you've got a headwind, excuse me, you can't use your wood, you're in your driver. And when if you've got lower developed stuff, that's not good, because there's not a driver that really likes to handle being up that close. So it's 2.9, that's 3, so it's about 3.3. So there's 3, 2.5, 3.3. I'm just going to hit it straight to start off with. Oh, well, I'm going to hit it straight and great to the right. And just end it up close. Close. There is a shot from there, and you can eliminate those sand traps. You can take those sand traps completely out of play. This is a hole that you can get a hole-in-one on. It's not a high percentage, in my opinion, a really high percentage hole-in-one hole, but you can get hole-in-ones here. But there's going to be a bigger percentage of your bracket that epic failed on this hole than get hole-in-ones. And if you can put yourself in a spot where you can give yourself a shot, a legitimate shot at hole-in-one, but take out some of the risk factor so that you're never in that group, it's worth exploring. And I see very few people use the spot where I hit over there. And that spot does give you the opportunity to get in front of those traps so that those traps are completely out of play. I like that spot. I'm not sure why more people don't use it. Or at least have explored it. Most people come at this hole from the left-hand side trying to bring it around. And I almost always like to use that little landing pad over there. Even if I'm hitting over the sand, if I'm playing from the pro tees and I'm hitting over the sand, I like that spot over there. Oh, hole 7 in the bag. Let's go to hole number 8. Okay, so we're on another one of the par 4s here. So we're on another one of the money holes. Let's go check out hole number 8, which is Sunshine Glades hole number 4. All right, this is another hole that we have a serious chance. All 3 of the par 4s here, we have a serious chance of being able to put it in. This hole right here, we have lots of options. I will tell you that in one-on-one, from the pro tees, this is a sniper hole. It's one of only 2 holes that I can think of in the game where I play it sniper. I lay it up right here with my sniper, and then it gives me a rough bump straight to the cup. So shot 1 with a sniper, and I don't try and get greedy. I try and be on this side. If you cut this in half, I try and be on this side of it, but I'm not interested in screwing myself over by trying to get to some, there's a spot. Just try and be out here in the middle. Take all of this stuff out of play. That's why we're laying it up. And then you have a clear little sniper. And I get people that laugh at me all the time when I do this. And then they come out here and they try and use this island to pound themselves over to the other side and end up in the drink. And then I get to laugh back at them, because I see a lot of people epic fail on this hole. I see a lot of people end up in the sand and they're behind the trees. Most of the players that are out there, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get out into this area to come at it. Now, I'm going to be very curious to see what the green looks like, because if you look at the green and you see all these little dark patches, if you've ever played this hole before, this, you can cut this green in half. This side of the green over here is fraught with moguls. I mean, it looks like ants went up in there, and there isn't a flat spot on this side of the green. And so if you're hitting over into this area, trying to come over, you're having to negotiate through this minefield to get to the cup. And it's not that you can't make it from here. I mean, you are at short distance and you can make it, but even if you've got everything right, you can still miss just because you hit that little mogul on the side of the hill and it rolled it off a little bit too fast to the left, and it just made it miss the cup. The last time we played this hole, though, in a tournament, they had smoothed the green out and the entire green was flat. There wasn't any of these moguls. So this spot over here was awesome. Very low risk to get over there. Now, another way that you can come at this is you can use this island and do a bounce on this island, a bounce on this island, getting to the green. And you can do this with a big topper. And this used to be the preferred way. Now, I will tell you that, you know, if you're off on your trajectory on your first shot, you hit a great to the left or the great to the right, you're going to hit this. But it changes your angle to the point where now you're going to clip this rough, or you're going to end up bleeding off into the water. Or if you're on this side of it and you hit that great, you're going to end up over here and you're going to end up in the rough, or you're going to end up in the water. And if you didn't hit this shot perfect, and it was and I believe it was an overpower shot. We may have been, I think we were able to do it without doing overpower. But if you didn't hit it perfect, you were screwed. But then that went away. There was a tournament where I tried to do that. Me and a buddy of mine, my buddy Des that I was talking about earlier, we came out here and we shot this hole and we were hitting perfect shots and ending up off. And so I bagged it. I believe from the last time that we played this hole, that I was seeing some people go in that area, and I saw a lot of people epic fail, but I did see a couple people get that shot, but it's not as good as it used to be. There is a shot that you can do from right here if you've got, and you don't have to bring out a 5-power ball, you can bring out a 4-power ball if you've got a bigger club. So if you've got an upper developed extra mile, you can bring out a power 4 ball. If you've got a lower developed, you'll need to bring out a power 5 to push your red line forward. You want to be able to get out here in the clear, so you want to be able to land in this area. So you want to get bounce number 1 here. And then you're trying to literally go bounce number 1, bounce number 2, clip the rough, and just bleed out. What I liked about this was that it puts you on this side of the green, and on this side of the green, it's flat. What I don't like about this is that on this side of the green, so if you just dribble over here and end up right here, then you're going to have to, even with your chip shot, you're going to have to get up. It's very easy here to overshoot this and end up on the backside. There's a fine line. If you don't put enough topspin and you clip this rough, you won't get out. If you put on too much and you miss the rough, you're going to end up in the rough back here. There's a very fine line if you're trying to get up on the green. We'll see if we can figure it out. If we've got any kind of headwind here, I don't know, even with overpower, whether I can get that down with a power 3 ball. I think from the Ricky tees, I don't think we can play this hole from the Ricky tees anymore, so in some respects, I'm used to playing it from the pro tees. And I always play that sniper shot. I'm going to bring a Titan. The king of balls. That's right. When you just absolutely, positively have to get it done. Now I'm going to use that APOC. Yeah, that's not where I wanted. Practice. Hole number 8. See if we can get over there and get her done. If we fail the first time, I'll just play this hole again. So I need to get a few more videos on the channel that I started for Dungeons and Dragons. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since 1978. I was 13 years old. Me and a buddy of mine he was the DM and I was the player, and we were meat grinding it out. He had some modules, and we would play. And I mean, like literally, there would be days where and we wanted to go through the mechanics of rolling up a character. So every time my character died, and there was literally days where I had 2 or 3 characters that died in the same day. It was almost like a video game where I was able to learn from my past mistakes, but I think with that headwind, see, I'm right on the outside edge of that. I think with that headwind, I should be fine from that spot. I'm going to give myself a little bit of room there. 2-2, it's 1.5 per ring, so there's 1.5, so it's about a ring and a third, and I'm going to do a ring and a half. Oh, and I'm in the drink. We'll have to play this hole again. Oh, I just missed it good. Clip the rough, and I actually came in on the right side of the green. How lucky is that? Excuse me. I know, and that's one of the reasons why I decided I was going to bring my Apocalypse instead of my extra mile, because it is more accurate. Because with an extra mile, if I hit it 2 rings great to the right there, I would have been in the drink. I would have been in big trouble. Yeah, so what is that? 78, 88, 98, 2008, 2018. We're in 21. So I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for 43 years. So I was like going through and like thinking of things that I wanted to shoot videos on. It's something that I've been doing forever. The only other thing I've been doing for damn near as long is woodworking. My sister wants me to do a woodworking channel where because I do custom veneers. I make my own veneer. We get, sometimes we're buying, I have bought some pre-made veneers. There's a company out of Colorado that I've bought stuff from before. Doing projects for some people. I did a project for a guy in California, and I pre-bought some wood, pre-bought veneer, and then vacuum packed it. But we like to find our own wood. I like to work with spalted maple. So we buy blanks. There's a guy out here that he sells wood to Remington for their high-end rifles. And he also sells wood to a pool cue company here in the United States and a cello manufacturer in Europe. He only has 3 customers. And they buy... I was out there, the last time I was out there, he had, he's got a barn that's got tons of stacks of wood. They're all on pallets and they're all stickered up, and a blank is 48 inches long, 4 inches thick, 16 inches wide. And some of those blanks will go for $2,000 to $5,000 for a blank. But what's funny is if a company goes out there and he doesn't sell to the general public, but I found him luckily one day, and if one of those companies comes out and buys a pallet of wood from him, and they'll go through and grade them, and they'll say, oh, we don't want this one, pull that one out, we're not willing to pay for that one, I can go out there and buy them for substantially less, maybe $200 for a blank, put them on my bandsaw and slice off 1/8 of an inch, and then run them through my drum sander and sand them down to the point where they're so thin you can cut them with a paper cutter. But I like to work with spalted maple. If anybody knows what spalted maple is, it's really hard to work with. It's basically rotted maple. Very hard. Hole number 9 is going to be Eagle Peak hole number 6. All right. There is, if you're playing from the Pro Tees and you're using a lower power ball, you can bring yourself around down into this area right here and then bring yourself home. If you're not in the right spot, it's kind of hard sometimes to get over these trees, but you can bring yourself home from this spot right here, because you can come further to the left, or excuse me, to the right, until you get the opening you're looking for. And you can use curl and side spin and try and get yourself up so that you can get up there. From the rookie tees, our goal is to really get up into this area. And it does not take, like, we got to be cognizant of our topspin getting over there. I believe we got to be tied. Let's think about, can we bounce over? I'm not sure if I can just get over to this side, and then it's really about sticking it. I think it's about bouncing it from here over and then running it up to the front, but I don't think it takes a lot. But our goal here is to get up into this area. Now, if you get up in the rough up here, you can recover. Here's the difficulty with recovering here, is that if you've got a Nirvana and you end up in the rough right here, you can recover, but you're going to have to bounce over from here, and a Nirvana has just enough topspin to be able to clear this. And I mean, you got to get right up against it. So depending on which way the wind's blowing, it could be very difficult to make this bounce, because you could end up, if you've got it, because you got to get so close to this, you could end up finding yourself clipping the rough right here and just sticking right there, or clipping the rough over here and just bleeding out just a little bit, and then yeah, you're in the spot. You can recover. You got a short little chip. If you end up in the right spot here, you have several options. You can start off on this side. You can start off on this side and you can use the backboard. There's a big ass backboard here. You can start off on this side and go straight at it, or you can do a rough bump. I really like the rough bump, but in order to do the rough bump, you're going to need to have something that's got lots of topspin. Sniper. Let's see here. I'll just take my number 1 bag. And a Titan. I think I have a Titan. Maybe. Finding an opponent. Yeah, so my sister and I cut wood. We cut veneer about twice a year. I've got a whole bunch of wood in my basement that we've cut and that we've got set up for projects. She buys slabs, and she's been buying slabs for about the last year and a half, which I also store in my basement. I've got about a 1,600 square foot basement, and it looks like a wood shop. It looks like a wood store. All my tools are upstairs, but all of my I store all my wood in my basement. Which is why my wife requires me to hire an extermination company every year to make sure we don't have spiders. Damn wives. We slice them off, run them through the drum sander, get them thin. Then what we normally do is we'll slice wood into 1/8-inch strips, and then we'll re-sticker it and let it sit for about a year and restabilize in its new environment, in its new thickness. And then we will run it through the drum sander the next year. Let's go to my number 1 bag. And that seems like too much topspin, but maybe it's not. Just seems. 2.9. I'm going to put that wind back in it. I don't think I'm going. I think in the past I've done overpower here. And you don't need a lot of topspin if you're doing overpower. But I'm not doing overpower, and I'm just going to see if it'll float out there. And then after a year, we'll run them through the drum sander and sand them down to they're finished. And then we will once again let them sit before we use them. Let them stabilize. I've got some wood down in my basement that I made into veneer quite a few years ago. That's absolutely bone dry. And then I have a vacuum press, so we'll make whatever we're making. And the thing about making veneer is you got to have veneer on both sides. So I make a lot of reversible furniture, especially tabletops, where you can pop the tabletop off and flip it over. And so one side's got one type of veneer on, and it's got a look to it. And if you decide you want to change up your living room, you can pop it off and flip it over, and the other side's got a totally different veneer on it. couldn't find the right hardware to do that when I first started doing it. So I bought some milling equipment, machining equipment, so I could make my own hardware. I want to be... How close can I get here? Damn. I shouldn't have to do... I'm going to just do a straight up adjustment. There's two. Let's see if I can hit this last shot perfect. Hitting it perfect. Let's get in the hole. Let's get that Albie. Would that be 3 eagles on the par 4s? And I overpulled it. Just doing a straight up adjustment. I was so close down there that it did look like it was downhill. Or excuse me, it looked like when you can get that close where you can see the individual blades of grass, that's a pretty awesome effect. Great shot. So maybe I need to take some wind, or not take as much wind on that. Instead of doing a plus number, we do a negative number. Now the other thing is I overpulled it and I wasn't in max club, and I just did a max number. Damn rookie. What kind of crap is that? All right, that's a look at the holes in the quarterback tournament. There's a lot of holes here we're going to be able to pick some shots up on. I think the opportunity for us to, especially on the par 4s, I really like the last 2 par 4s better than hole number 1. Hole number 1 has been one of those hit or miss holes for me where I've made a lot of eagles on it, but I do like the opportunity on the other 2 par 4s where we can actually get up on the green. I always like it when you got a par 4 and there's an opportunity to get on the green. Consistency wise, you'll have a much better opportunity to get that eagle when you can get on the green. Par 5's got some opportunities. This is going to be a very low scoring tournament. Very low scoring. I mean, I'm thinking around and got lucky on hole number 3 that my opponent hit the Albie. But not a bad round. Pretty easy holes to play if you're just trying, pretty easy holes to put yourself in the right position. You should be able to get yourself in the right position on just about every one of these holes in order to give yourself an opportunity to pick up a shot. But we've played these holes a bunch of times, so there's a lot of experience out there on these particular holes. All right, that is a walkthrough and a basic practice round on the quarterback tournament. Good luck, everybody. Have a great week, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.